Jai Hind everyone. My name is Dr. Anuj Kumar. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of BTech and Mechanical Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. In our lecture series of Idea to Business Model, we have covered two lectures that consist of how does we generate the idea to the design part and how the new product development process works. In this lecture series, today we are going to discuss our third lecture, which is on production system. So once we have finalized our data, we have screened our data that it is feasible or not, we have developed a blueprint of the concepts, we have summarized the new product development process and how we can develop that idea into a viable product or a service. Now the key question comes that how do we produce it, manufacture it, or develop that idea? So the motivation behind this lecture is production systems comes into picture when we have finalized the idea and we have developed the concepts, the design part, and now we have to integrate the manufacturing aspects into that idea. So this lecture covers the product design to the manufacturing part, and we will definitely go with the two examples that we have already taken. The first is air quality index meter and the second one is desktop 3D printer. So first we have to understand what is a production system. So it is a method of converting the raw inputs into a finished product. That means we have to finalize our product or service based on some input parameters. What could be those inputs? These could be raw materials, machine that are used in the production or the fabrication of the final part, the human resources, and the energy intensity used to develop that part. So in the whole production system, you have to think of materials, you have to think of human resources and the process itself, and it will define how a product is made. So this production system consists of all the manufacturing aspects, all the human resource aspects, all the cost viability, etc. So in the production system, why it is more relevant to the idea to business model or a product idea is that this production system will determine the cost of that final product, the quality we will entertain with this product, and the scalability of that idea, how scalable that idea is it market viable, is it feasible? We have studied all these things, and now we are ready for the design for production, not just functionality. So in the idea stage or the new product development stage, as you may have encountered different type of functionality of that product or service, but in this stage you have to think of the manufacturability of it, the production system of it, how you are going to manufacture this. So this is a basic workflow that you have to start with the design part, the idea part, the concept part. Now we are in the production stage. You have to design the production system. You have to select which kind of production system is more suitable for your idea that you have selected. And then you can go for the business viability. If you have designed the ideas in a proper manner with the design steps, if you have selected the production system in a good domain, then only you can have a viable business idea or a viable business model. So there is a basic classification of production systems, and in the upcoming slides, we are also going to see some latest or the innovations in the production systems. These are the conventional ones which are utilized in various industries for developing different type of products or services. So you have to see that how you can decide the production system based on how many units you will produce or how complex the product is. If your product is very simple, it does not have any complexity, you can choose a different type of production system. How many number of products or units you are going to make on a single day, on a single week, over a span of month, that you have to decide based on the product, based on the market capabilities, based on the penetration of your product into the market. So on these basis, we can decide which kind of production system you can use. On the x-axis, we have product variety. Is it a simple product? It is a complex product? It is a customized product? So you can see the on x-axis, we have the product variety, and on the y-axis we have the volume of the production, how much production we are going to use. In this domain, on this graph, we can see 4 different type of production system, that is job production, batch production, mass production, and continuous production. These 4 are the basic foundational or conventional production systems that are used in different type of industries: job production, batch production, mass production, and continuous flow production. So we will see them one by one, and in the end we will also try to figure out that what are the advancements in these production systems to establish the new type of industries, the industry 4.0 and so on. So in the job production system, first we have to see that customize or one of production. That means if you are going for a very specified technology, a very specified or specific product that you have to make in 1 or 2 quantities or few quantities, for example customized implants, so you can go for a job production. Or dusra, low volume. If your market demand is like that, you are going to produce 1 or 2 components or few components in the start of the business model, then you can opt for job production system. The important part here is process layout. That means your plant layout looks like processes. For example, all the drillings, all the millings, all the finishings. This kind of layout you can observe. What does that mean? All the drilling functions should be done here, all the milling function should be done here, all the finishing or the final machining of the functions should be done here. So this kind of layout is more prevalent in the job production system. What are the examples? Prototype development. In the prototype development stage, you are not going to produce a mass production system, or you are not going to use a mass production system to produce prototypes, because you are going to test on these prototypes, as we have seen in the new product development cycle. So for the prototype development, this production system is considerable. Custom machines, custom implants. If you are in the very niche area of certain technology, then you are not going to produce thousands of products in a single day. You are going to make very few products with very specified technologies. In these domains, this production system is very good. So you can understand by this line that in job production, every product is different. You have to customize it, which is very prevalent in the today's era. So example, first prototype of AQI meter or custom built 3D printer, that can be considered in the job production system. Now comes the batch production. If think of a stage where you are established your prototype and now you are ramp up your production system. So you are going to make few more products or services, and that can be considered in the batch production. In batches of many moderate volume, that means you have increased the volume of your product. The y-axis is increased, the volume of product is increased, and the variety is a little bit of less. So here we have the batch production, yahan pe job production. So now the variety is reduced a little bit and the quantity has been increased a little bit, and we can opt for a batch type of production system. Again, we have to see that small scale AQI meter production, if you have established your AQI meter, which we are taking as an example, if you are established the product cycle, then you can opt for a batch production system and you can manufacture the AQI meter in batches. And this is already most common for startups and MSMEs. So this kind of production system is more relevant when you are producing similar products with few modifications or few varieties in batches. That is more dominant. Now comes the mass production system. As the name suggests, here we are going to have a much more quantity and less customization on every stage. That means our product has established in the market, there is a certain or a continuous demand of that product or service, and we can opt for mass production. In this, the important part is the layout. Now we are going to use a different type of layout which is called product layout. That means our industry or the machine floor will look like how the product is moving throughout its stages, and the machines and the stations are settled along the product line, and that's why it is called product layout. Based on the product itself, you are going to lay out your machine floor, and this is relevant for mass production. Large scale production is its characteristic. Higher efficiency we can achieve in this kind of system, and we will definitely reduce the cost. In the job production system, we are producing very few parts, specialized parts. The per unit cost will be very high, but in the mass production system, we can reduce or we can optimize the per unit cost. Consumer electronics, automotive components. Mass production is used when the demand is very high. You have established your product in the market, the demand is already there, and you are going to produce your product in the mass production. The last production is continuous production. It is a specialized case dedicated for all refinery chemical processing where the product is in continuous flow. It is the extreme case of mass production. Here we are not going to change every day or every month new type of setups, new type of customization. There is no need of that. So the quantity is very, very high, and there are highly automated. The production seams will in a flow of products. There is no uncertainty in it. That's why the taken example of AQI meter and 3D printers are not relevant here. This is specifically designed for different type of process industries, chemical industries, oil and refineries, that kind of products. So you can appreciate that this kind of continuous production, and the second name is flow type of production, flow production. As the name suggests, the final product or the idea of that product is going to flow around the plant layout. That is the idea. So we have understood these four extremes of production system, starting from job production, batch production, mass production, and flow production. But in the today's era, industry 4.0 or different type of industries are going to serve with these kind of production system, so that we are innovating different type or new innovations in the production system itself. We will see few. For example, the first one we can see that flexible manufacturing system or flexible production system. As the name suggests, it will try to balance between mass production and batch production. That means you have to increase the quantity as well as the variety itself. This flexibility means that you can introduce some complexity, some variety in your product, as well as you are going to increase the volume of the quantity, and we can achieve a flexible production system. For example, the second one is called green production system, or the third one is called lean production system. We are going to see these advancements in the production system itself. So flexible production system, green production system, and lean production system. First we will see the flexible production system. This is adaptability to change. That means if you are developing a product idea, and certainly and over the period of time there is a demand, there is customer feedback that you are going to change a different sensor, you are going to change a different housing of it, then you can opt for flexibility. You can change that idea, you can incorporate that idea into your production system without losing the quantity of it. So it's a trade-off between batch production system and mass production system, and you can have advantages of those two. Handle product variety and customization as well. Different type of numeric controls, automation, and quick changeovers are the key features of this type of production system. It is suitable for small batches, customized products, and different types of domains. Example, if you are developing a 3D printer flexible production system is more relevant because you are over the period of time you are going to customize it, you are going to change the product variety, you are going to increase the complexity of it. Now very relevant production system which is in talk of today's, that the green production system. As the name suggests, it is characterized by environmental sustainability. That's why the term green production system. And you have to reduce, what is the aim? Reduce environmental impact. So you have to design your production system in such a way that it will impact environment in a positive manner, not in a negative manner. That is the whole idea. Eco-friendly materials, low energy use, reducing carbon footprint, reducing emissions, reducing pollution. This kind of approaches are the key characteristics of green production system. And sustainable manufacturing is the output of that production system. Recyclable casing for AQI meter. If we are going to develop a AQI meter, as we have seen the example, if you are going to use a recyclable material, and that then we can categorize our production system in a green manufacturing or in a green production system. The last one is lean production system. The term lean is derived or can be inspired from different domains. Lean manufacturing. The requirement should be, or the supply should be as per the requirement. There should be no wastage. The characteristic of that is waste reduction and efficiency. So you have to segregate these three, that in the flexible production, you are adapting for new things. In the green production system, you are adapting for environmental impacts. And in the lean production, you are minimizing the waste, which in turns increase your efficiency or less impact the environment as well. So it will improve the productivity and the quality of it. A very important approach is JIT, which is just in time. So you are not going to procure so much of inventory, and you are going to opt for JIT system. That means you are going to produce, or you are going to procure only when you are required to do so. You are not going to manage so much of inventory. You are not going to increase so much of waste production in your production system as well. This is relevant for mass and batch production and producing only required AQI units. So this is more relevant, and this philosophy came from the Japanese concept. They don't have so much of spaces so that they can use different type of inventory warehouses, and this is relevant. So these kind of advancement in the production system, like flexible production, green production, lean production, are more relevant in the today's era. What are the factors that we are going to select which kind of production system? First, you have to see which is your product type. What is your product type? In which domain you are working? What is the idea on which you are working? Volume, that means quantity of it. कितना बनाने वाले हैं? What is the quantity of it? Product की complexity क्या है? What is the variety included in the product itself? Cost consideration and market demand. So all these parameters should be considered beforehand before selecting a production system. That means you don't randomly choose a production system. You have to ascertain first which is the need of your product. For example, AQI meter, you can start for batches, and once the demand is settled, you can go for mass production. In 3D printer, you can go for job or batch production. Initial stages, you can go for job production, 1 printer, 2 printer, 3 printer, and then you can produce in batches of 10, 20 or 50 or so on. So wrong selection of production system leads to high cost as well as the inefficiency of your system. So you have a very good idea, you have developed good concept, you have designed it well, but if the production system is not good, these all goes into the way. That is the idea. So this is the summary of this lecture. Production system converts design into product. There are different types, and we have also seen some advancements like green production, lean production, or flexible production. Selection depends upon the product and the volume, and this is a key role in the success of your idea or the business model. That is the idea. So in the next lecture, we will see that when we designed or when we select their production system, how to successfully control it, how to plan it, that we are going to see in the next lecture. Thank you. Jai.